All right, guys, we are back this evening. We got ourselves Team Snorlax facing off against Average Joes. Now, we're going to be kicking things off here very shortly. We're just waiting for one more member from Average Joes to join us. Now, it's interesting how this season has progressed so far. If you were around for season 4, Average Joes were an exceptionally good team in terms of their performance last season, and it seems like this season has been a complete 180 for them in their performance. And there we go. Yeah, just switch. And it looks like we are ready to go. So it'll be interesting to see how Average Joe's performs. They definitely are having some uh, definitely a rough season as they are at the bottom of the pack, but it just means they're probably experiencing growing pains with new members on the team. On the other hand, Team Snorlax has been performing pretty well. They're not at the top, but they're also not at the bottom in their standings. So in Division A West, we have, Division A East. Team Snorlax is 3-3, which is from 8th place to 11th place. You can see there's a large contingent of teams stuck around there at this point in time. Now, like I said, Average Joe's near the bottom. The only team that is currently doing worse than them is Full Send. However, Relevant is pretty close to being surpassed by Average Joe's. As if Average Joe's can pick up the wins here, they'll surpass Irrelevant matchup in terms of matches played. But if they trade 1-1, they'll be exactly in the same spot as Irrelevant is. And in the meantime, we're still waiting for them to get ready. So, some interesting stats for you guys. Team Snorlax, they've only well, obviously this season, you don't have too many games to go by. So far, 6 games have been in the database, added into the database for Stats of the Storm. They played Dragon Shard twice, won both of them. Played Cursed Hollow twice, won only one of them, and lost both Infernal Shrines and Volskaya. So we also have Infernal Shrines as part of the map selection actually by Team Snorlax. So based on statistics, right now that is not their best map to choose, but they might be choosing it because they've been working on it, crafting better strategies, and wanting to test it out here. On the other side, they also have some interesting picks with very high pick rate on Dahaka, so they like to play the macro game, trying to get the global control throughout. They also have a preference for Johanna, and their Johanna has won every single game she's been in, which is pretty good. If 50% of your games have a Johanna and they've won them all, that's looking pretty good for Team Snorlax. Things for Average Joes to look out for come the draft. So we should be getting started here in just a second. All right. And we're off to the races. So we're going to be hopping on into the draft. We'll see how this plays, or how this plays out. And we'll take a quick look at what Average Joes have been selecting this season. It'll get a good idea of how they've been performing overall. I need to clean up my database because it's clearly not looking like it's supposed to be there. But based on the data that I have at this point, we're seeing a lot of games on Phoenix, a very high pick rate. So something that I definitely commend them on. I feel Phoenix is definitely worth the pick rate that they're applying at this point to their drafts. However, they haven't actually seen success with the Phoenix. They're actually seeing better success with heroes like Diablo, which got a game in. Malfurion won, well, 1 out of 2 games. Raynor 1 out of 2. Deckard Cain, they've gotten 3 games in with them. Muradin 3 games. But Phoenix is by far and away their most prominent pick, and we'll see if they'll continue the trend here as well. Now, on BOE, there's a lot less macro. It's a lot more in your face, come at me, bro style. Oh, wrong banner. I must have switched when I switched players who the banner is. Thankfully, they should all be in comms for this. Now, this might be a map that plays a lot more to average Joe's style at this point. I feel like if you're a team who's still working on how to do things like macro together, then, well, macroing on BOE is much less intensive overall than a map like Cursed Hollow. So I think taking a team to BOE is a great idea, especially when Team Snorlax likes to play a macro game with Dahaka picks. If they're picking Dahaka, then take them to a place where they're not comfortable playing a Dahaka necessarily, or even where the value of a Dahaka does drop. Yes, Dahaka does get some good value here, but it's not nearly as good as like your Cursed Hollows. On the other side, we saw the Genji and the Hammer ban from Team Snorlax with Hanzo and Johanna. So, guess they're listening to the shoutcasting and taking into account the Johanna pick with the high success rate they've had with her. So I like that. Urel is a very, very good pickup here as well, and I'm definitely giving the thumbs up to it. And on the Deckard Cain, definitely thumbs up to that too. Like I said, the Deckard hasn't had, only been in 3 games, only won 1 of 3 games. But they also are playing on a map that actually has some of the most success for him, which is actually very interesting. Average Joes have played Infernal Shrines and BOE. And guess what? Both of them have wins for Average Joes. And on the flip side, Team Snorlax actually is lost on Infernal Shrines. So this is actually a very scary situation from, just the statistic side of things, where Average Joe's has shown BOE is a map they can win. And they've shown Infernal Shrines is a map they can win, while on the flip side, Snorlax has yet to show that. Now, they're picking up the Lei Ming, they're picking up that Phoenix, and it's looking good. But it's interesting that they would pick the Lei Ming into the Anubarak, because it's a counterintuitive thing where Disintegrate is highly useful for getting a cocoon removed pretty much instantly, and at the same time she loses value because the beetles will block her orbs and or her missiles. But Anubarak is not your top tank, but they're going to make that up with a Diablo. So now they have a very interesting lane situation. Your Rel is going to shove in Anubarak really hard and going to win that very decisively. Now, the white main with Raynor and his old Jin, and that's really interesting. And it's very aggressive pick here, especially when they know Johanna is off the table. So it's an interesting choice. Now, the Garage, well, Zul'jin does have a slow, Raynor does have a knockback, there is Diablo, and there is a nub. That's a lot of CC to control Barrage. So it's going to be up to Random Task to pop that Indomitable in order to actually close the distance. Now, thanks again, by the way, Nexus Gaming, for that auto host. Got 4 people coming on in. And thanks for joining me, guys. Yeah, as someone else pointed out in draft, Nub is more Eastern meta, but they've made it up by flipping in that Diablo, who's been one of the most successful heroes across divisions, I believe. In terms of tanks, right now Diablo is showing to be one of the best out there. Now, I like both of these drafts. I think there's a lot of CC. They have both very strong front lines. Zul'jin and Raynor will have a lot of peel available between. I'm hoping Nabarak will pick up the Beta Barbs to provide the slow, and instead of necessarily playing a dive comp, because it's much harder for Zul'jin and Raynor to get in when you engage. However, they could also still, provide a CC train by the time Zul'jin and Raynor walk on in. They're basically ready to be blown up. So we're going to jump on into the game now as everyone is loaded in. We're going to have a Noob Slayer 67 on the Zul'jin. We got Kui on the Diablo, Noob Slayer 76 on the White Mane. We got Green Pickles on the Raynor, Jimmy here. And we got, Potato Ninja on the Nabarak. And that is going to be Team Snorlax. On the other side, we got Jesus on the Urel. We got Hazer on the Phoenix, TJ303 on the Deckard Cain. We got TA Damage on the Li Ming, and Random Task is going to be on that Garrosh. So that is Average Joe's. So kicking things off, we're going to have a Nub just sit there, maybe come on in to try and apply additional pressure. Now, the laning situation is much better overall, and they're clear. They have Zul'jin actually in the top lane. This is interesting because Potato Ninja, yes, he might be able to CC. There comes the burrow onto two, Potato in, but then Garrosh getting the throw in. Random Task, I'm trying to make the plays happen. A double Groundbreaker, and Deckard Cain, well, a Random Task with all that armor, hard to take him down there. And they have traded up significantly overall. Look at those health pools, all at health, half-life, all going to have to tap up. And Random Task, really the only one who's looking worse for wear. At this point, Kui is just, a wet paper bag getting torn apart. And they are winning this pretty handily. Like I was saying, a Random Task looking for the throw will get pulled on over. Potato Ninja getting the stun onto Random Task, but Hazer coming on in with the Plasma Cutter will cut him down a little bit down to size, and Random is just getting those stacks. 6 stacks already in a minute and 30 seconds, baby. That's pretty much Value Town. We got TA coming around on the side, another one, and another one. There comes the root. He's looking for it. Potato Ninja has no burrow. He could toss him in, but they are not looking for the throw. Oh my god, Hazer just getting that AoE damage in, just obliterating the health pools. TA will be able to back on out, and in the top lane, we got Jesus. Well, he's not winning in this lane as you might expect, but he's also not losing it at this point. Random taking a lot of damage. The lockdown. TA going to drop a bomb on Green Pickles, and he's going to be a little bit toasted there. Going to turn into some Black Pickles when TA's done with him. Now, top lane still okay. Noob Slayer is almost out of mana, and that's one of the advantages they have. On the other side, Team Snorlax coming on in, trying to start off this camp. We'll have Kui doing it. This would actually be a very interesting invade on the part of Average Joe's right now, because they can go and take a look. Are they doing the bot camp? If they're not, they're doing this camp. You can, process of elimination, know exactly where they are. So they're going to both get their camps at roughly the same time. We have Ace in the Hole, the Behemoth armor. We have the Soul Shield. Voodoo Shuffle going to be coming on out here, removing the roots and slows, which should help a lot because there's a lot of slows to go around. We also have Headhunter, Clemency, the High Inquisitor, and we also have the Nerubian Armor and the Underking. So they are looking for that dive on the side of Team Snorlax. On the other side, we have the Dominance, the Power Hungry, Warbreaker, Indomitable, Ocean of Shielding, the Sapphire. We got Marad's Insight. There goes Potato Ninja, going to actually burrow through everyone. Random Task looking to toss him back. Hazer on the case right now. And Potato Ninja is locked on in. He's going to be one baked potato, and he's going to be looking pretty juicy right now. So, Kui still looking to get some poking, but this is very dangerous. They have a one man down. On the other side, though, Zul'jin and Raynor have poked this down significantly. Their race is about even overall between Li Ming and Phoenix. There's Kui coming on in with the charge. Random task, however, got Hazer. There's the throw on over. He has no way to escape right now. The lockdown, and Kui is going to be going down. That's another one for Average Joe's. There's the aggression from Random Task going on in. Beautiful interruption there. The stun from Jay's, and they have locked down another kill. Potato Ninja is going to be a twice baked one as he goes down once again. Now, they are trying to still race here. Zul'jin will be completely zoned out by both Jay's and Random Task. I really like how they're playing this. Kui trying to come on in, getting the stun, but the toss on back from Random Task, knocking him a little bit back here, and they're still trying to race, and they'll be finishing this up on the side of Average Joe's. Looking really good right now, Average Joe's. They have really good coordination in these team fights, and, well, they're going to pick themselves up the first Immortal here. And this is really big. Random Task is already at 12 out of 15. We have only half stacks on Kui. We have 7s that were picked up. We got the Calamity, the Into the Fray, Emerald, Vine Steed, and no choice yet for Phoenix. But this is going to give them a little bit more ability to be aggressive here, because they have a little more room to fight before 7s are hit against Team Snorlax. Front wall is down. They're not going to be all that much more aggressive. I wish they actually would push in with Random Task trying to pick someone up and throw them on in. Now, this is one of the downsides against both Kui and Potato Ninja. They both have a way to potentially escape from Barash's throw. But should they use their engage, they're really easy targets, and they're actually going to posture here to try and bait them into fighting this. I'm not quite sure it's really beneficial, but they're going to both look at each other and kind of make mean faces. On the other side, we're going to have Jay's still holding this down. Noob Slayer 67, about half mana at this point. There's the engage from Potato Ninja, the stun onto Phoenix, but he has plenty of shield. The knockback, though, from Green Pickles, and Hazer will not be able to aggress anymore. Now, toss on back. Potato Ninja has nowhere to go. The root onto him, and they're actually going to be backing on out. Potato Ninja taking the orb to the face, but Random Task going to be knocked on back, and Hazer trying to do as much damage to peel for Random Task through the sheer ability of killing someone. TJ303 has absolutely no mana. TA damage coming on in, trying to keep them alive into the fray, not coming in time, and they will be losing themselves a Deckard Cain. So, Random Task getting really aggressive there. There we go, completion. And, oh, this would be huge if they can actually get those souls. The orb connecting. We got Potato Ninja coming on in and parting like the Red Sea. Average Joe's completely avoid the burrow. Top, well, Noob Slayer just dunking right now on Jay's, throwing them axes all day long, never tiring. He's currently at 12 stacks. On that side, we have 1 on the Headhunter and 6 on the Arcanite axes. Other side, we have 7 on the Behemoth armor, and 7s were picked up as well. We got the Unstable Compound, the Eternal Flames, Arcanite, which we just saw. Fanatical Power will be the choice actually here, so no CC removal. And then we also have the Subterranean Shield, which is the normal pickup. So they pick theirs up. They should actually start racing ASAP or go for the gank right now. There goes Jay's. We got the orb coming on. NTA will finish off the Zul'jin, and now they got themselves a really big push. Well, because they'll have to respond to this immediately now. However, they respond immediately and there's no wave. So one thing you want to do when you pick up those camps is try to time it with your actual minion wave. They're much more effective when they actually have people there to help them push. Otherwise, they'll just get melted down relatively fast. We do have Hazer down here trying to take out the camp. Oh, beautiful stun from Kui. Hazer overstaying, and Potato Ninja and Kui execute Phoenix. Oh, there comes the taunt, double taunt onto both warriors, and a Noob Slayer dropping the Armani half-life. And Cocoon coming on in. Jesus trying to back on out. We got our Ardent Defender coming on out. Not going to get much value. The toss, though, onto TA damage, getting him out of trouble. And it is now a 10v10. So we saw the Lightning Breath be used there. We saw the Cocoon be used there. We have the Rainer's Raiders as well. And additionally, we have the Divine Reckoning for even more damage along with the Taz Dingo. So right now, about half. And they'll be able to toss on in some damage in the meantime because they can still win this race as they already got themselves the halftime advantage. There are 3 members here. All tanks are currently down here to harass, and they should be looking to get very aggressive. Noob Slayer, there's the throw on, toss back, and the taunt by Random Task. The Purification Salvo coming on out. Noob Slayer 76 going on down. Kui is going to be trying to escape, but we got Jesus jumping all over that big old Diablo booty, and Kui will be losing all those souls shortly. So, I don't think this is actually a win for Team Snorlax. They just lost 3 members. They lost the Diablo souls, and they'll be able to start clearing this up 100% free. Random Taz actually gonna get stunned out, but he's looking for it. Gets the throw, potentially. The slow. There's the Taz Dingo coming on out. There's the Indomitable. Random Task getting super low. He does hit it in time. Does manage to get the potion. And there is the front wall going down. Oh, Taz Dingo has no longer up. And a beautiful Tornado going to lock down Noob Slayer 67. And Noob Slayer 67, well, so long to you, buddy. So they got themselves a fort. They do lose the XP wars, if you will. Because, well, they're down almost a level at this point. We have Jesus down bottom, holding it down, and the rotation from all members of Team Snorlax. So, unfortunately, they didn't win the race, but they're still getting themselves a bit of an advantage of racing to 16, if you will. They have bottom fort to get, they have top wall and fort to get, and so if they're already in a lead, that means they can snowball that lead much further. We got TJ 303 and Jesus down here, and they'll have to be careful as there are 4 members here. Kui, same thing, has to be very careful. They are going to rotate down as they have the additional pressure, and Kui is not very good at clearing waves, which means that this is an actual rotation that can result in some kills if they're not careful, Snorlax, which they are, because Potato Ninja sitting in that bush doing a nice job of anchoring for his team. Remember, you can't buy wards, but you can buy tanks. So remember, always have your tank ward. 13 advantage, only being around for a very short time. Random Task looking for it, gets the combo, does get the taunt. They're looking for more. The blow up, Potato Ninja not long for this world, and there is the AoE damage. Lightning Breath being used. Tornado has come on out. Random Task, though, hitting them with the Groundbreaker, and there is so much damage being tossed. The Purification Salvo, the Root, and there goes a Diablo once again. Noob Slayer 67 not long for this world as well. Taz Dingo not going to really save him. TA coming on in, man-moding that, as he's not really afraid of a little Taz Dingo action. So average Joes have a huge advantage right now. No Diablo, no Zul'jin, and they have a 2-man advantage, which means they can get this to halftime relatively easily, which means they should actually start this camp immediately after because, well, top is being pushed in slowly but surely, and they'll get, if they do this as 5, they can assuredly blow this up. Unfortunately, they're not going to actually be able to because they got Urel in the bot lane, and they got TA who fall back due to not having enough mana. But they are in a defensive position, so I think it's still advisable for them to pick it up to get additional map pressure and potentially more structures during this entire time. So TA coming around, going to drop the bombs from afar. Jace is warding in the bush, keeping it, and you can see that's exactly what Team Snorlax is doing. They're getting this to try and alleviate pressure on their Immortal. However, it's taken a little bit too long, and they are not going to be able to alleviate it quite enough. They're now in position. Jace is coming on and back into the fight as they know where everyone is. Jace is spotting out Kui, Random Task spotting out the rest of the crew, and they're going to play a ring around the Rosie as is right now. Spray is being dropped, Jace is coming on in, and both DPS are actually hitting the Immortal, which means that they can be very aggressive and start poking. There goes Random Task, toss on back. There is the taunt ready to go. And knocked on back for Kui. Lightning Breath being used. The AoE damage is so much, but Purification Salvo will not get the kill. Potato Ninja is so low. We'll have to back on out. Noob Slayer 67 a little too far forward. We got Jesus come on in high, and TA is dropping the damage, teaching them the meaning of pain, and they are looking for another kill. They're not going to get it, but they're going to settle with 2 kills and a very, very large Immortal. So this is potentially a game-winning push here. Random going to get knocked on back on Green Pickles. Not really going to matter as he doesn't have the team to follow up with him. We got Jesus, who is clearing things up. They do lose an entire tower, but look how big and beefy this is. This is almost a full shield Immortal. So what they want to do now is have Jesus clear one wave, come on up and push on in as 5. They have the 16 advantage, and that's exactly what he did. He basically cleared this up. He's now rotating on up, and with this big old advantage, they are going to smash some faces. Random Task coming on in, looking for a Potato Ninja very far out there. They're looking for him. There's the burrow. The taunt is not going to happen. The unstoppable, beautifully timed. But Jesus coming on over top rope, a jump. Potato Ninja gets the tag team action of Jesus and Random Task, and they take him down. Jesus coming on back in, smashing some face. Kui might be up next, and he is going to be going down shortly. So a 2-0, and this Immortal is still pushing on in. So this Immortal can take this keep. They're looking for a Noob Slayer. There's the Tazingo, but he's tossed on back, has nowhere to go, and he won't be picking up any kills in the meantime. That is insanity. Another kill, another keep, the keep, very likely, and they have a wave pushing on with them. And another 25 seconds before Zul'jin is back up to help defend. Random Task, Jesus are an incredible duo of pain and suffering for Team Snorlax. Pretty much you get the slow, and you get the stun, and then you get the taunt, and you get another stun. 18 to 15, and they get themselves a keep. So, Average Joe's far and away looking like the insanely dominant team. I don't know where these guys have been before this match. As I said, they're second from the bottom in the standings. But if this is second from the bottom in the standings, I'd be scared of, the top 4 teams in Division A. If Average Joe's is near the bottom and this is what they're showing to us in game number 1, other teams are going to have to be on the lookout. Now, top is pushing in. They're going to have to deal with this. 16s have been picked up, but unfortunately, they don't look for the gank. They go for the safe clear. I would have liked Average Joe's to be more aggressive. Sit in some bushes. Wait for a bad rotation. You know they're going to go and clear top because of the catapults. So just sit in a bush and try and use your 16 advantage and fight them 18 versus 15. Yes, it is risky, but it's a lot less risky, in my opinion, to bush gank them with a talent advantage than fighting them 16 versus 18 at this point. So they are now going at it, poking this down as much as they can. They just need TA to toss it in every once in a while, an orb and some missiles, and they'll be looking fine and dandy. So they have to deal with top simultaneously. We're going to see 19 stacks on the Behemoth armor. We have completions. We have the Mirror Ball. We have the Earthshaker. We got the Heraldic Staff. We got the Holy Wrath. And finally, the offensive Cadence. On the other side, we have the Aldor Peacekeeper, Ancient Blessings, the defensive measures, that Illusionist, and also the Auxiliary Shields. We had the Devastating Charge. So a partial double W build for Diablo, not the full W that you'd might be expecting. We also had the Lashing Out along with the Self-Righteousness, the Ensnare, and they're now looking for it. Well, Jesus does have the ability to jump on out at any point, and you can see they're just playing this slow and steady. They can poke this all day long because Rainer is not here, and they are doing a fantastic job of exploiting this. Because as soon as halftime comes around, this Immortal is going to be extremely safe for them to poke at because it'll be on their half of the map. And you can see halftime has now arrived. Rainer has yet to stop being Laner, and that means they're fighting 5v4, and they're almost to 20 at this point. You're going to see down here, Urel just clearing this up. Random Task is in a bad spot right now as the entire team's there, but he does get the taunt. They're coming on in. Top rope jump. Jesus follow up with that TA damage, and they'll go get themselves a reset. TA is going to blink on through. There's the disintegrate. They're still looking for the kill on Kui, and it's not going to come out in time before they lose Random Task. The Purification Salvo doing so much, and they get the Diablo kill. 1 for 2 right now. They're still looking for more, but they have to go back and defend the core. So this is a lose-lose situation right now for the side of Team Snorlax. They're basically in a situation right now where they can defend the Immortal or take core damage. You can see they actually have 2 who've gone back, and because of the fact that they're down 2 members, there's no way for them to realistically save the game without 100% compromising the ability for them to survive. Now, the only way Team Snorlax survives here is come into the bush, flank around, and fight them. This is perhaps the worst situation you can have in HOTS. The down talent here, significant talent here, 20 versus 17, and multiple levels at that, which means that at this point they're fighting 5v5 against a fully shielded Immortal simultaneously. And even if they manage to kill everyone, that Immortal might still end the game on its own if the fight gets dragged out for too long. So they can keep poking. There's the Lornado coming on out. TJ303 is not going to pick up anyone from it. Immortal is actually getting burnt very fast. Random Task now coming on in. And unfortunately, they didn't actually get the Immortal to spawn at a proper time. They should have waited for Random Task to be spawning before. Random Task looking for it. There will be the slow. Random Task getting really low. Indomitable going to be used. Lightning Breath on top of them all, and they're going to have to retreat. The burrow from Potato Ninja going to land. Very nicely done, but Random Task is going to just toss him around. So at this point, they have actually saved the game, I believe. Are they going to actually try to end here still? Oh, this is very aggressive. TJ303 getting low, does have the Lornado coming on out. Core's already down to 70% and dropping. They are going to go for this core and try and end it right here and right now. 50% on the core. TA getting low, and there is a Purification Salvo coming on out onto Noob Slayer 67 and to Kui. And they're going to turn on back, baiting them out to fight for their lives. And Team Snorlax have managed to survive for now, but they lost 50% on their core. Now, we got 30% falling on down here. We got the breaker coming on out, and they are going to finish this up. Wrap it on up. Call it a game. Average Joe's looking way beyond average in game number 1. So, quick look at some of those numbers. The Phoenix and the Li Ming, Hazer and TA doing so much damage. They actually were pretty much on par with each other. Phoenix helping to get people low, TA getting those resets. Zul'jin, Diablo, and Rainer all almost the same damage. I don't know if you should feel good as the Diablo player or feel bad as the DPS. The fact that your Diablo is pretty much matching you in total damage output. I mean, even Garrosh actually managed a hell of a lot of damage when it was all said and done. On the healing front, well, Noob Slayer 76 showing how strong Whitemane is. It didn't matter though, because that 11k extra healing couldn't make up for the 40,000 extra damage they were taking. So very nice job there from Noob Slayer 76 though to try to keep the team up. On the other side, well, Jesus just had an insane amount of XP. Almost 19,000 That's fantastic. No global and still has almost a 19,000. So hats off to Average Joe's. We'll be back for game number 2 and we'll see some highlights for you all to reminisce about the game we just watched.